Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod with Stephen Watts. He's founder and owner at Slyde Handboards. He has been doing that for the past 15 years, founded multiple companies, has a nice picture on his LinkedIn with Mark Cuban and Ashton Kutcher and two unidentified other folks, which Stephen might want to tell me about. Cool guy, guest loves surfing, and we're going to talk about building a bunch of startups today. This pod is presented to you by podpar.com. If you want to start your own podcast, you can go there. We do it the unconventional way, the scalable way, the monetizable way. Steve, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and about what you're up to nowadays.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate being on the podcast. Yeah, what am I not into? I mean, I'm like, as far as being an entrepreneur, I guess you have to be into absolutely everything, right? Like master of all trades and you know, master of everything, I guess, is what it boils down to. But yeah, I started my first company back in the day. This was pre-Shopify, any of that stuff. I think I started on big Squarespace. I think I had for a little bit. There was one called Big Cartel as well, which was I think was the I don't know if anybody goes back that far. I think that was the actual cart that you could add to things, so you had to stitch them all together. Super fun doing that. But that was ages ago. It was 2000. I think I started kind of messing around with. I'd always wanted to start a brand, a surf brand specifically, and since I was a kid, so the product that we kind of came into was very unique to the it'd been something that'd been around for a long time, but nobody had put a brand on it. But it was really unique. Yeah, like it started off back in those days, kind of bootstrapping. It was out of a we're in California. I'm actually originally from South Africa, so I moved here around about 2008, and my main goal had been to start this company. And so we started it out of a small garage in Venice Beach. And it just grew. And that other person you see on the picture with me and Mark Cuban and Ashton Kutcher was, in fact, my wife. At the time, was that at the time? Yeah, she was my wife at the time.
How many wives did you have?
No, I mean, at the time the picture was taken, I was trying to remember, but yeah, she definitely was. And so she joined and started helping about 2 years into starting the company, and we've been together ever since, obviously. So anyway, it's really, really fun building a company with a significant other. It does have its challenges, obviously, but super fun. So yeah, we were on Shark Tank in 2015, which is why you see Ashton Kutcher and Mark Cuban. And yeah, it's been fun times. So yeah, enjoying
Still
it.
a small company, I guess, like not a lot of employees, so that's good. And about like 8 million a year in revenue.
Yeah, we've managed to keep it small, and I do that intentionally. Obviously, like I know I was reading actually up about I think it was Kim Kardashian had she was $1 billion company and she had like 8 employees. So I mean, obviously, like it was very different optics to that versus us, but nonetheless, it's you don't need a ton of people. I think to really have a successful, especially D2C company.
Right. They're beautiful devices. So I'm sharing my screen now. Well designed, unique ideas. How did you get the idea? Did you like build one for yourself at first and then you were
Yeah.
like, wow, this is super fun?
Yeah, well, it's actually interesting. They've been around, honestly. Like I kind of argue the case that you can actually see images pre even surfing, stand-up surfing, that the islanders, Fiji, probably Hawaii too, where kids were using palm fronds on their hands and trying to, just like body surfing. So body surfing's been around for forever, and this just allows you to like kind of go further and have a lot of fun doing it. So and right away, especially if you don't have a lot of experience in the water, and also having a big surfboard. And I mean, I advocate for the fact that like I've been surfing since I was a kid. I advocate for the fact that like you really should be body surfing and experiencing the ocean before you do, because I actually used to teach surfing in Santa Monica for in a different life. And what I found with a lot of people were they couldn't even, they barely understood the ocean. Well, actually, a lot of them didn't have any understanding of the ocean, the way the currents move, and the way it actually works. And you can get injured, and you can actually get washed out to sea. You can drown, which is obviously the worst case scenario. But nonetheless, I think it's really important that somebody either body surfs or uses a handboard, because it really teaches you a lot about the way that a wave works. So that's kind of and it started for me when I was a kid. We used to use shoes, flip-flops, anything. Kids still use food trays, which is hilarious, because we used to use food trays when we were kids too. So that it wasn't so, it was basically like I created the shapes, I created the brand, and people love it. So there's a huge community, well, really like solid community, which is really important for a brand, I think.
Yeah, I just love the idea. What happened after Shark Tank? How did that change the company?
Yeah, so after Shark Tank, we it went great. Obviously, I mean, it's a real kick, like boost to the company. I think with the people that you have involved in your company, depending on which shark it is, we were very, very lucky, and we actually got I think 3 or 4 of them that were actually pitching, but wanted in on it. So I honestly, like, it goes through in a flash. You don't realize how quickly it goes. And a lot of people think it's kind of pre-staged, but it's not. You stand out there and you do your pitch, and then they just fire back at you with 100 different questions. And a lot of it, we were up there for 45 minutes, and it's only a 15-minute segment, I think. So it's fantastic. I mean, honestly, like, I would recommend it to anybody. I know I've heard some people had bad experiences, but honestly, I think it is what you make of it, and that's the same in life in general. Like, we're still really close with both of them, and they continue to be part of other brands that we've launched. We launched a shoe brand, which we just exited just recently. And then we launched a blanket brand, which is a predominantly give back brand, because I come from South Africa, and so I really wanted to be able to give back to the people in that country, just because I felt that it has an upward of 30 to 40%, in some regions 80 to 90% unemployment. So that was really important to me, to help create jobs, and connecting the beauty of Africa, and specifically Southern Africa. Anybody that's been there can tell you it's just such a gorgeous place. And so we're kind of connecting artists, makers, designers, and with the American consumer, which I think is hopefully, like, it grows and it grows and grows, and we can really just keep on adding to that.
I think it's gonna keep growing. I'm bullish on your idea. You said you're pitching investors. I'm connected with a bunch of investors. I run a Shark Tank like podcast, so I'd love to feature you on there. It's a great idea. I just freaking love it, and I'm in Oaxaca, Mexico. We're near Puerto Escondido, which is world famous for its waves. So yeah, we should talk. I've been on Dragon's Den, the Quebec/Canada version of it. That was a decade ago for one of my nootropic And that was a life-changing experience. It was kind of harsh because most of the sharks didn't understand my business, right? The nootropic, it's a pill that you take for better memory, better cognitive performances, and it was like just too early, right? Like still most people nowadays don't understand the benefits of optimizing their brain for work and so forth, how much productive it can make you. I want to talk about, yeah, your business, the way you do marketing as well. I'm guessing like mostly Insta, Facebook ads. How do you fuel that growth? Because after Shark Tank, you were like in the waters of 1 to 2 million a year, and now you've grown to 7. So how does one actually do that with an ecom business?
I think it's really important. Like, there's different companies that, like, you've got to find, honestly, like, I get pitched all the time on just the next wonderful thing. And I think it's, like a lot of people will tell you. And I think the one thing that everybody forgets is like, yeah, just because you did it with one company doesn't mean you can do it with another, because each company is like a person. I mean, literally like a person. It has its own personality. It has its own followers, people that like it and people that don't. And so, I don't think one size fits all for every company. And, I help a few different companies, or at least I have in the past. And each require like something different. And so obviously, like, for us with Slyde, and even with blanket brand Tula Tula, like, they both are completely different. They're different demographics, and obviously there's a similarity in the way that you would market, and the core marketing kind of ideas that you would go into are kind of similar, but just the way that you would approach it, I think, is different. Like, for instance, a surf brand is completely different to like a home goods company. So yeah, I mean, you can talk funnels and all that fun stuff, but the things that really drove it for us is community outreach, and being at events, and unfortunately, as we kind of move forward, like, I have 2 kids, and like family comes first for me. And so, like, we've been doing less and less of that. So we're looking for like a partner to be able to do that kind of stuff for us as well. And I think, like I said, going back to the marketing stuff, I thoroughly enjoy, the SEO side of things. For some reason, I have no idea why, I'm not analytical in any sense. I'm a product designer by product, and graphic designer, more product designer than anything. And so, like, it's kind of weird to me that I really enjoy the SEO side of stuff. I think it's kind of, I can see the competitiveness. And so, like, with from an early stage, SEO was really important to me. And I like the way that we worked on actually all our brands. I really enjoyed for all of our brands. I think it works better for some than it does for others, obviously. But that's enjoying. But obviously, like, we use the regular stuff. Facebook is becoming, in short, a shit show. Honestly, I was there with dark posts at the beginning, and even Google Ads too as well. I became a professional in Google Ads. I became a professional on the Ads Manager, for certain periods of time, because that's what I concentrated on. So, like, yeah, we've used all sorts of different things. I think for Slyde itself, has been in-person events that we do. I think, to me, like, you've really got to find what you enjoy, and find your why a lot, in the company, and like meeting, you really got to understand what you enjoy about doing in the company to really want to get up every day and do it. And for me, that was meeting different people. I love talking to people. I don't like sitting behind a computer screen and talking into the computer screen. I like being out there and meeting people. And it just so happens that was, and I think, honestly, that going back to some old school kind of marketing things, events, like, a lot of people are looking for a quick fix with a lot of marketing these days. And it just takes it takes getting up and showing up every day with your marketing. It's, anything. I honestly implore anybody that's starting out to like not, if somebody's telling you they're gonna, make you 100 grand a month in the first 2 months. I don't know. I'd take it with a pinch of salt. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying like you need to be really careful of people, especially because the reason that they're advertising those particular skills are because they're making money off of you, and that's, you've got to be careful with that. So anyway, that's my rant.
What challenges did you face along the way? When did things go really bad, and how did you solve these humongous
Ooh.
problems?
I mean, honestly, like in fairness, like things go wrong every single day. So like it's I mean the big things, I mean, not, like the pandemic was obviously a massive problem for us. We were doing with our shoe company, we were doing fantastic. Actually, this goes back to like companies are completely different. The shoe company dropped off the edge. We were doing somewhere in we were getting up to about 150 a month. We just started the company about 4 or 5 months before that, if I remember correctly. It was 2020, yeah. Actually, less than a year, or it been fully going for a year. And once the pandemic hit, it just dropped off. But the surf company did fantastic. Because people were trying to get out and into the wild, I guess, more, obviously being on the beach, you weren't closer. So, that honestly, if I could talk of anything, that was a huge, just navigating through that whole period. And in hindsight, I mean, just from a mental health perspective, I didn't realize it hit me as hard as it really did. Just, I think everybody can relate to that. Like, honestly, like even 2 years on, I still feel like I'm getting PTSD from all the shit that went down during that period. It was difficult. Like like I said, we went down, we were on form to do about 150 that month of March that it hit. We'd just been in Hawaii with Slyde, and that had gone fantastically well. Then all of a sudden, everything just dropped off the face of the earth. Slyde picked up back up once people started, but like the shoe company, I just don't think it ever, caused a lot of friction between our partners. Not Mark and Ashton; they were really supportive, but we had other partners with that, and it caused a lot of friction because like we had just ordered in a huge tanker of shoes, and we essentially couldn't pay for that, so that was a big problem. And those issues compounded, like not necessarily with the partners, because we sorted that out, but just trying to get the companies, all three companies back up and running effectively. The Tula, the blanket company, was born out of the need for a comfy solution. So that actually came out of the pandemic. We started in 2020, and that's doing fantastic too as well. But yeah, so I would say that was, I mean, anybody can relate to that issue with the pandemic. So I think it's fairly relatable.
What are your goals for this year? What's on the growth map?
Well, we're actually looking for new partners with more partners with Slyde. We want to I want to take a step back from and start doing the stuff that I enjoy with Slyde versus actually doing all the extra stuff. Like I said, I hate being behind a computer. I'm more in person. I relate better to people that way. And so, yeah, like that, finding a good partners to move forward with that, however that looks. We're going to take our factory for Tula is going to be taking on a bigger sort of role in the company, and like we're excited to work with them on that and really growing it. We're working with a couple of Hollywood people to really like the blankets I'm actually talking about were the blankets from Black Panther. So we were in Black Panther, so working to grow that side of it, which I'm really excited about. And then we got some other really cool stuff. I've got a couple of other ideas. Being a dad, I have some cool dad, and being a product designer too as well. I've got some cool things I'm lining up that hopefully will be kind of beginning to mid I can start launching. So I'm a perpetual starter. I love starting. And I think I'm like really into watching something be born and coming out of my brain and like landing on the paper. I really find that. And then, I love, I feel like I like then turning it over to somebody who really can take it that extra mile.
There you go. Where can people find out more about you, Steve?
Honestly, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. They can contact me. Steve at Fun Brands LLC. That's our umbrella company that holds all the companies. You can find me. I'm actually not. I like most of my personal things are actually my company. So it's Slyde Handboards on Instagram. But honestly, like the email is probably the best to get hold of me if you wanna chat or anything. Just shoot the shit.